This is your weekly tarot reading for June 1st. Welcome to summer. Super excited about the solstice this year. Lots going on. So let's do a little shuffle and see what your energy is like. I do want to hear from you how you feel your readings have went, where you guys are in the world, where you're coming at me from. And I'd like to hear little comments about how this Mercury retrograde is affecting you. We have a lot of strange little mercurial energy that's going on. It seems like it's coming from one direction and the other. Ultimately, mine has been all electronics. I mean, and I don't mean one thing, I mean everything. Phone, Echo Dot, Wi-Fi, my doorbell, even the pump to my water. I have a pump that goes on my water jug, and it went out too. It needed discharging, but I was like, everything went wonky on me. And like I was saying yesterday, I think it was to Pisces or one of the other readings, I was saying how I'd much rather have it be my electronics, because that teaches me about patience. I'd rather have that than relationship issues, because when it's relationship issues, it's more heartbreaking. I'd rather be frustrated than heartbroken. I don't know, just a trade I'm willing to make. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on for you, Aries. Three of Swords. Funny that I'm talking about Mercury retrograde. So the first card that comes up for you is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords has to do with miscommunication. Don't you just love these new cards? Look at it. So this is the Mercury retrograde card. This is having miscommunication. Literal definition of this means heartbreak without communication. So if you don't get to the bottom of things, they can get worse. And ultimately, like in my coaching, when I used to staff PSI seminars, we used to have a thing called Clear It Now, which pretty much meant clear the issue that you have between staff. Like, you didn't pick up your weight, I had to carry your weight, or I don't think you handled this situation well, or whatever. Clearing that energy early allows you to move it along. It's smaller. Just think about the little thing like couples breaking up over that someone not taking out the trash, or coming home from late from work. It's not that you didn't take out the trash. It's that the frustration begins to build and ends up being about so many other things, and then you internalize the frustration and eventually it has to come out. So if you can process these things early and often, they tend to be a little smaller and more like popcorn than a big, Pepcon explosion. So I'm saying Queen of Cups, Seven of Swords. So Seven of Swords, in my Tarot 101 class, I was coming into relationship with this card a little differently, because each card has its shadow side. It's all whole and fullness. You never see me doing reverse meanings, because we're a complete entity. We have bad days, we have good days. Doesn't make us a bad person or a good person. But we have the Seven of Swords. Now, this is someone taking, it looks like they're taking something and looking over their shoulder, and they don't have a great look on their face or a positive look. They look kind of sorrowful and disgruntled a little bit. And what ends up happening with this card is, it's not necessarily being sneaky, although I've used it as that tool to tell us when somebody's not being honest. What are we not being honest about? But it also has to do with making good of a bad situation, or making the best of it, or saying, okay, so this is what we have to do now, right? So this is making the best of a rough situation. We also have the Five of Cups, where we're having a little mournful, a little bit of mournful behavior, or we're regretting something. Janet saying, hi, can you see my post? Yes, I can see your comment. So Three of Cups is celebration. So in the back end here, we have the Queen of Cups, Seven of Swords, and Queen of Wands, which love and money tend to have the same energy. So if you're feeling regretful about something, it's carrying over into your other relationships. We have the Three of Cups moving forward, which has to do with celebration, and it's high time. We have Wheel of Fortune and the Star card, and also the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. Six of Pentacles has to do with charity. Like, how much are we able to give? If you look, there's a shopkeeper. He has a scale with two separate kinds of measurements, right? And he's trying to decide whether he has the liberty and the ability to share, and what he has left if he does. So this means, like, you have the Star card too, which is hope, and perhaps you're getting something that's going to support you moving forward, because this celebration and timing. So if there's something that you're waiting for monetarily that's supposed to come your way, that might be a loan, taxes coming in, it could be, benefits, support, favors, anything in which someone is offering or giving to you and supporting to you. Knight of Cups. So the other thing that's coming up for you is the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knight of Cups is our card for emotional overwhelm. I want you to think of the qualities and concepts behind the court cards in a tarot deck. They have to do with each personality of that cards. So knights are like our teenager that knows it all and they're impulsive. And so we have this Knight of Cups, and this person is coming from a place of love and emotion, not necessarily just love, but emotions as well, because cups is all about emotion. And this is somebody that's like feeling like they're in flux with these emotions. There's also the Eight of Swords, which is overwhelm. Now, here's the thing that happens with this card in overwhelm. It's definitely feeling as if you're surrounded on all sides by activities, things you have to do, obligations, problems. But she has these chains around her wrist where it's like she's bound but not locked into it. So this is something she's doing willingly, and her eyes are blinded, which means she can't see her way out of a situation. Now, what that looks like is just being so completely busy. This is busy work, maybe not productive, where you feel like your time is eaten up by your schedule or other people's requirements of you. So this can sometimes feel like, we've got so much on our plate. Now, there are times in our life when that I've seen a lot of, but they have a tendency to be having their own mind. And so maybe they're not being disobedient and rough and going different directions, but they're definitely these two entities that were driving somewhere. And so oftentimes incorporating a lot of this energy takes intensity and focus. And that's what the Chariot card is all about. So don't lose track of things. You have this message about divine timing. You don't hear me use catchphrases often. I don't say for your greater good, and I don't say divine timing, and I don't use terms lightly like soulmate and twin flame. I don't use these often because people don't use the same language I do in my understanding of them. Twin flames and soulmates are described kind of crazy, and they don't have the purpose in which we think they do. I know that's hard to hear, but they definitely activate us. So I was saying, these cards here are telling you that you have hope. You have making good of a bad situation, right? I just lost my train of thought that I wanted to tell you. And I was looking at a comment and lost it. But ultimately, all I have to say is, focus and intensity. And even though you have change coming, fear isn't involved here. Maybe a little bit of excitement and focus. So just take yourself out of the game for a minute if you can, and relax and take some of that anxiety off. Ask for that support that you're looking for. I do feel that abundance is around you. You're just a little bit emotionally tumultuous over it with this Knight of Cups. So that's either someone else or yourself, feeling impulsive with our emotions, like hovering with them, maybe like women who have PMS. We feel these emotions. We don't know where they're coming from. Or just having an irritated temper and wondering how we're going to clear it. Like we feel like we need to yell or cry. So there's emotions that are going on for you. I'm going to pull a card for you from Divination of the Ancients, and we will see what your message is for this week. I would encourage you to go to the website, karmaondeck.com. There is a live tarot class that is beginning. The initial class going over the major cards will begin on Monday. That is the class you don't want to miss, because I can catch you up on the others, but there's so many core fundamental things and values that you learn with the major arcana. They are the structure of the remainder of the deck, the Fool's Journey. So the first class, Tuesday at 7:30, karmaondeck.com. If you want to get in on that, there's a payment plan in there, or if you feel like it's something you can't pay for right away, text me, email me, and we will negotiate something. I want to see you use these tools. If you want to book your session, your one-on-one session, and get a private reading, karmaondeck.com. Schedule is open finally after the last couple months. And new moon and full moon, set the date. I'll be having in-person events then too, for those of you that are new to practice or just want to come fellowship and be around other people who think alike and play alike and get yourself in some rhythms. I'll be doing them every 2 weeks. And that's just for social interaction and connection. Okay, we're going to have drums. We're going to have poi to play with. Maybe if you have instruments, play with them. Get some movement going. We're going to do some candle intentions and a bonfire on the full moon so that we have an idea of what these feel like and look like. All right, here you go with your Divination of the Ancients. Let's see what it has to say for you. Projection. Oh, shit. All right, so one of my favorite quotes, and I always get it backwards, so if you know the proper way to say it, you may correct me. Projection is perception, and this card right here is scrying mirror, projection. So this suggestion is for you to take a look at yourself, look at your situation. Awareness is key. You can't coach. I won't coach anybody that isn't ready to go, right? You have to already be on the move, because a lot of people think they want coaching, but all they want to do is be heard. So this is scrying mirror, which is projection. So projection is perception. Like if you perceive things to be crazy, chaotic, people to be angry, for people to be, uncomfortable or mean or selfish, maybe it's us being mean or selfish or uncomfortable or angry. And then we are just tending to pout and make mean faces, and people are responding to that, and we're blaming them.